going live. Good morning and welcome to the Tradinformed Trading Model live stream. We're here testing the trading model, Excel trading model on the NQ market. We have got about 15 minutes to go before the market open in New York. With me is Ren Valle. How are you today, Ren?
Good, Mark. Good morning. Thanks for
Good
hosting
morning.
this morning.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be a wild Tuesday.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. We've just had a little uptick. We had a fabulous, just looking now. So we're down. Wow, actually, we've just recovered a little bit. We're only down about 20 points on the NQ. We had amazing end to last week. And I
Yes.
know markets weren't open in the US, but they actually topped out around about 10 a.m. here on Monday.
Oh,
So
wow.
prices have been declining steadily since then on risk assets like the NQ. So hopefully we see a bit more price action to the upside.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hopefully we'll see a little bit of continuation today. We'll find out here soon.
Yeah, we'll find out too. But it seems to be balancing itself off. We've got a couple of minutes. So I was just going to quickly show the. Let's have a look at. This. So I've got the Nasdaq futures here on the 30-minute chart. I often show this just to put it into a little bit of context. So if I scroll out here, this is the downturn that we've been seeing
Oh, yeah.
through April, through May, and then that third week of May, we saw what looks like at least a temporary bottom. We had a very strong rise on, it was Thursday and Friday in particular, and then yeah, since Monday, we're now on Tuesday, of course, we've come off a couple of percent. Looks pretty balanced to me. Could go either way
It,
from here. Have you
it
got any
does. It
thoughts?
looks like it does. It looks like it's a little bit of profit taking after a big rally. That's all.
Yeah.
Nothing too severe. No severe downturns. Or shock moves lower. So I think we're hopefully today is a nice morning. It opens up and we get that normal Tuesday action. But here in the States, it's the first day after holiday, so it might trade a little bit more like a Monday.
That's right. It is effectively a Monday, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
for the traders. So I'm going to take that off and let's have a look at the spreadsheet model now. We are trading on the 5-second bars here. So this is something that would be very, very, very difficult to do manually. But what we've got is an automated Excel spreadsheet that is linked using what you can see in the top left of the video. You can see the Rhythmic RTrader terminal, trading terminal, which is primarily aimed at futures trading. Ren, you know a bit more about this. Can you say a little bit more about the Rhythmic terminal?
Yeah, so the Rhythmic is set up. It handles almost all the future known products here in the States and around the world. We're just connected here with the CME using Rhythmic. We're using it because it's free to download. If you want to download our sheet, you can connect up to Rhythmic for free for 2 weeks. And then if you wanted to, you could pay for the data. One good thing is you can use this product without having a brokerage account. You can just do all of the testing you want to do, and you don't have to have actual money invested in a brokerage account to do it. So there are alternatives to Rhythmic out there. We just happen to use these guys because they give that free 2-week trial. We've connected it does connect to Excel automatically, so that makes it easy for us. But the Excel sheets could be adapted to use any API or product like Interactive Brokers that does connect to Excel as well. So these things are all possible. We're just happen to be using Rhythmic for the simplicity of it and affordability too. It's like $25 or so a month for the data, and we don't get anything from that. It's just that's what Rhythmic charges for the data. So it's just simple.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, what we're demonstrating, as you've already said, is the spreadsheet. It's the Excel model. You can use this Excel model to. It's a one-stop shop. You can use it to import data. You can then use that data to develop strategies. If you already have a strategy, you can backtest that strategy to make sure it works on historical time frames. Then you can optimize it. You can refine it, get the best values for your stop loss and your profit target. And then when everything's ready to go, you can push a button Metaphorically speaking, you can push a button. It really is as simple as that. Connect it up to Rhythmic like we're doing today, demonstrating today, and run that strategy.
So yeah, today, Mark, you're running strategy too. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So we're actually already, what I normally do on these is go over onto this sheet. We've already got a strategy. In fact, we've just sold a trade there. We're enabled and we're already trading. So if I go back here to the results tab, you see this on the spreadsheet on the bottom left of the video. I'm going to just zoom in slightly, make it a bit easier to see here. See, normally here we test strategy 1. The reason for that is it works better with the NASDAQ, which is a trending market. It's a momentum market. We get these incredibly strong surges that can last for quite a long time, hours, days, weeks. We've all seen it. The NASDAQ can go up and up. So we go for strategy 1 normally, which is a momentum trend following strategy. Strategy 2 is just simply an alternative. It's slightly different. It's trying to buy on a bigger dip of the price. So when we have slightly changeable markets, and I'm just going to scroll across here in the Excel model and have a look at the price. Slightly more changeable markets like we have been having recently. You can see here we're up and down here, we're a bit choppy. The strategy 2, the mean reverting strategy, has been taking these trades pretty well, and it's been doing so with very little drawdown, and we're going to see in about 8 minutes time how it performs once the New York Stock Exchange officially opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah, so strategy 2, I'm using the PPO. It's a type of indicator, very similar to the MACD, except it uses a percentage, and really we're just buying on a retracement. That's the key thing. Also, probably worth noting that because this Excel, it's really easy to test this strategy, but try different ones. We can flick between them. In fact, we will do that later in the live stream.
Yep. Yeah, that's great. And also we have our profit and stop losses set as well. So we have like a 20-20 today, which is a little different than we've done in the past. Any comments on that?
So what I normally do, and I think what a lot of people would do before the markets open, before everything's really going to go, we look at a profit target and a stop loss if you're using them in your strategy, and we certainly are in this strategy. And if I just scroll back a little bit, looking at the Excel model, you can see I've got a capital graph here. If I adjust this value here, and I'm just going to go up the top here and just get it to adjust. See, that's not actually making much difference. Actually, what is different today, Ren? You can see there, I can adjust it, and this is in terms of points, so that would be a 5-point stop loss, which is very tight for the Nasdaq E-mini on this time frame. I'm using a slightly tighter time stop here, so I'm using 10, so I might just push that out a bit. What that means is the shorter that is, the less time each trade will open for. It's a good idea to have a time stop, even in a strategy that you maybe haven't optimized for it, because we don't want to just leave positions in the market doing nothing. If there's a chance, we've got to give it time to work, but once it's died off, the actual initial impetus for opening the trade has gone away, then we don't necessarily want to be in that trade. So all I've got it here is set to the number of bars. I initially had it set to 10 bars, which is 10 5-second bars. I can adjust this, recalculate it, and that's what it would look like on 30 5-second bars. So I'm going to tighten that up a little bit. Obviously, we don't know the perfect length, but we get a feel for what generally works for this type of strategy. See, when I put it back down to 15, we're not getting as much profit potentially per trade, but we're also not holding on to stuff that's not working. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at 15 for now, for the purposes of today's. We're demonstrating this. We're using a paper trading account. Rhythmic offer, as Ren, you've already said, a 2-week paper trading account. So download the software, see if you like it. It's very powerful, but there's a bit to learn. There's a bit of a steep learning curve with the software, but it's very powerful. It's got really good connection to the CME, all sorts of different futures markets and others as well, either there already or coming soon. Nasdaq in particular, we
Sure,
understand.
sure. And currencies and all of the things. Yep. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you can trade currencies. It's very powerful. So we are about 5 minutes now before the New York Open. We have tensions building
Yep.
with
Yeah.
me.
All those
We're going
orders
to see
are
what
waiting up.
happens. We've actually had a turnaround. When I switched this on about 25 minutes ago, we were in a bit of a doldrums, but we are coming back up. I'm just going to, on my screen, have a look.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
we're
coming
almost
back.
back to.
Yeah, we're almost back to break even. So let's see what happens. Looking at the rhythmic chart here, I'm not going to adjust this now. Let's have a quick look at that CME chart here. Yeah, you can see that sell-off quite clearly on that. The
Yeah.
let's see, all we've had here is
Still.
this little bounce back here. So yeah, let's
Yep.
see what a lot of this was out of hours trading, so it was probably on pretty thin volume. So we're going to get
Yep.
some, I would guess, pretty big volume this morning coming in this morning. Let's see what direction it takes us.
Yeah, we'll probably see a lot of orders coming into the market after last week's rally. People probably want to get involved. You know, your month-end rebalancing is happening too, because today will be the last day of the month for the funds to do their balancing. So I would see probably, I would assume we're going to see quite a good move here.
I think you're right, actually. You're absolutely right. Yeah, 31st of May today. We're going to see some action, that's for sure. Anybody here who is here present on the live stream, you're more than welcome to pop a question in the chat. Let us know what you think. Any comments, any ideas, suggestions, or any
Yes.
questions.
Yeah, since anybody who's downloaded the sheet, or if you want to download it, you have questions about how to get it, let us know. This is a great time to do it. Every Tuesday we come out here and try to demonstrate it so we can answer your questions.
Exactly. So yeah, we've got about 2 minutes now coming up to the opening bell. Have you got your opening bell noise?
You know, how 2 minutes to go. Let me get in there and make sure it's running.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I'm gonna have to set. I haven't got one. I'm gonna have to set one up so I know when we start. Not that I don't normally trade the open, but this is something different. This is an automated system. I don't manually trade the open. I'm not moving
Yeah,
fast enough, and really my strategies are aimed at indicator closing time around or just before the closing bell. But it's exciting. The open is
we
more
should have had an opening
exciting.
bell to it. We'll have to add that to our spreadsheet, Mark.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so we're going to see some action this morning, and yeah, any questions, comments, thoughts, hit them in the chat bar. So let's see.
Okay, we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, so
Hopefully,
what I'll do is, particularly once we've had the open, and if we do establish some sort of a long trend, I'll switch to strategy one, and we can have a look at that. I was explaining just before we came on air, and that strategy one will normally take more trades, so we'll get
yeah,
more action, which is
yep,
what we want. If the market is moving in our direction, we're trading long only, just to keep it simple. That's not a limitation on the strategy, the broker, anything like that. We're just keeping it simple, trading long only, one direction, but the spreadsheet, the model, everything else is fully capable of trading short as well.
yes, yeah, absolutely. And we can modify. This can be modified to trade almost anything. Like you said, it's very powerful. If you can dream it, you can pretty much trade it in Excel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we're set up here to goodness knows all sorts of different strategies, anything you can program in there, simple moving average crossovers to candlesticks, chart patterns, anything that can be put down into numbers. This sheet will be able to handle it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're getting close here. The market's getting, yeah, the Nasdaq's almost back to where it started from. It's 2 points off or so. Incredible.
It is incredible, isn't it? This is the sort of moves oh,
There we go.
oh,
We're up and running.
ding. So there we go. Let's have a look. I'm going to move on to the chart.
And the Nasdaq has gone green. Yeah, we
Yeah,
should.
yeah. Tell you what, if I was going to guess from here, my gut feel is we're going to end higher today, but I've been wrong before. It has
Yeah.
been known. So let's see.
One of my friends who has been observing the markets for a while, he says he likes to say that the market ends the way it opens, basically every day.
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
you see like a really big up move in the morning, then you'll tend to see it close strong, or that's his theory.
yeah, yeah. But often we get the symmetry as well, or like a mirror image. So particularly, I've noticed it. I haven't really looked at month end too often, but particularly around options time when we just get some,
Yes,
goodness knows, people have got into awkward positions or I don't know what, but we have some sort of move that balances out what's already happened. So if we've had a strong few weeks, months, 3 months, then we're going to
yep,
have a negative mood and move, and maybe vice versa as well.
absolutely. Yeah, I noticed that too. The options market definitely. It's like I'm not sure which market's pushing which.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, people thought they understood the options market and the role of options before all the GameStop and all
Gosh, I
those
heard.
meme stocks
Yep.
burst onto the scene. So we've
Yeah.
had some big volume. We can see that on the chart. We've
Oh
had
yeah.
some big volume, and see where we go from here. We've taken out the lows, we've taken out the highs, or the recent lows, I should say.
Yeah. How's our strategy too performing with this little like very volatile move?
Yeah, we've taken a couple of hits.
Yeah.
So I'm going to switch on to the backtest chart here. You can see this here. So I'm going to zoom in here for video watchers. You can see here we've had a signal that says we have taken a long trade. That was just before, actually, just before the market opens. See, my time here is offset by 5 hours from New York time. This will just automatically adjust to your computer clock. So wherever you are in the world, it will adjust so you know what time it is.
Yep.
Here we took our first trade. We got stopped out there. It's actually something we've noticed quite often. Maybe we should adjust for it in future, that the first few bars are very volatile, very difficult to account for those, often ends up with the stop loss being hit.
Yeah, I think they're just like a coin flip on that first opening bell trade. Sometimes you get them, they hit the profit target or stop loss
Mm.
because 20 points on one bar is not impossible
Mm.
during the market open.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Well, we're trading here on the 5 second time frame.
Yep.
Very, very fast. We're doing that to get action for this spreadsheet. But really, this is the sort of spreadsheet and system that you can be using on the 5 minute bar, the 15 minute bar, the 30 minute bar. I personally prefer those. You've got time for a trade to develop. You can sit on it.
Absolutely.
You can identify real trends rather than there's a lot of noise on this time frame, but it makes it exciting, and that's exactly why we're doing it here, to demonstrate it. But I want to make clear that this spreadsheet could be absolutely fine on the 5, 15, 30 minute, 1 hour time frame, and we've even said
Absolutely.
daily, haven't we, Ren?
Yeah, we could do daily as well. Yeah, and it's definitely like for actual trading, you would definitely want to be a little bit. You want to have 5 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that, because at the 5 second time frame, the latency that you experience between yourself and like wherever you are compared to the CME, there's a bit of that. So you really can't trade these micro time frames that successfully unless you're right there at that in Chicago.
That's yeah, and execution is absolutely key
Yes.
for these time frames, and goodness knows anything faster than that. You have to be there because of the time delay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but one thing is strategy too is holding up pretty nicely. Um,
Mm.
Look at that. Like the market really just unloaded at the open, but it's doing its job of keeping us out of trouble. We're still up on the day theoretically on our strategy.
Yeah,
So
so I'm going to just zoom in slightly here for the people watching the video, the live stream. You see what we've had here. We've had what we term I wouldn't call it a cliff, but certainly we've had a bit of a bump down. But strategy, hitting the stop loss, and not currently opening a new trade. So we've not had a
right.
signal to get us back in,
Yeah. It's keeping us out of trouble.
keeping us out of trouble, which is a big part of this game, staying out
Yep.
of trouble. Um, the
Absolutely. Yes. Our P&L is still positive for the day, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is just a blown up version of the strategy equity curve over the past 1,000 bars for the last few hours.
Yep. And that is part of our spreadsheet. That's one of the tabs on the spreadsheet you can look at.
Correct. There's loads of data here. If you're a techie person or you like to keep things simple, you can do what you want with this. I'm going to go on to the charts full here, which is really just a stream in numbers of everything you see in the top left of this screen. So all the numbers, all the previous bars, you've got the open, high, low, close, bid ask, number of trades that took place, you've got the current bar, previous bar, all the information is here. So if you want to do anything with that data, it's streaming many times a second. You can look at the bid-ask spread. You can look at the shape of each candle. All sorts of different types of analysis.
Yep. Yeah, sky's the limit. If you can dream it, you can do it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So having a look at the chart here, we're down about 80 something points at the moment.
Wow, that was fast. We were just up on the day slightly when the bell rang.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to stick with my call that's saying we'll be up on the day, but we'll.
I'm good with that, Mark. I think you're right. I do. I think I'm just getting a little panic here in the morning. Everyone's doing a little profit taking.
Yeah, yeah.
So
it's the optimistic scenario for people who are trading long is we're sucking in a bit of the shorts, sucking in a bit of money. We're not even 10 minutes into the trading day, and we will go higher. But.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, Mark. This is definitely the kind of action that's typical of a morning bell.
Yeah, yeah. Mind you, if we reassert the patterns that you could see that we looked at actually ran on the 30-minute chart, then there is further to fall. But let's see.
Yep.
It was such a strong move.
Everyone's waking up and they think it's Monday, but it's actually Tuesday.
Yeah, maybe.
So we should get our Tuesday bump.
Maybe a few hangovers. I don't know if there's any beer and barbecues going on yesterday with some of these traders.
Yep.
But yeah, so we're a bit lower here. We haven't taken any more trades. Let's, as an experiment, we're not currently in a trade in the model, so I'm going to switch over to strategy 1.
All right, let's see what it looks like.
Okay, so see.
Ooh. Well, yeah, we wouldn't have done as well on strategy 1 today.
Okay, but we weren't trading that. So okay, let's look at the let's zoom in on the analysis. Now this is a small sample of trades. We've only had 25 trades. 44% of those were winners, and the average losing trade slightly larger than the average winning trade. So
true.
They're the stats over the past couple of hours. But this is a very much a directional strategy. And if the direction is right, it picks up loads of good winning trades. If it's going the other way, then it's going to take a hit. So this is something we've spoken about, actually, isn't it, Ren? How important it is to have an overview. It could either be baked into the strategy rules or it could be in some other place about what the direction is, what the direction for the day is, and trade in that direction.
Absolutely, and these decisions are made before you start actually trading, and that's what we did this morning. We went through all the different options. Definitely prefer strategy 2 over strategy 1 today, though.
So it's a high level decision, really, isn't it? It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be in the strategy rules, but it can be. So if we're trading on the 5-second bar, we might make a decision based on the hourly bar, for example.
Absolutely.
It depends. It depends what we're trading. Maybe even on the daily bar.
And Mark, you really articulated it well when you were saying why you would pick strategy 1 versus strategy 2. Forget exactly what you said, but you were just saying when the market's not really going your way, it might be drifting lower. Strategy 2 is optimal because it does wait. And I don't know if you want to re-describe that, but it was really a great way of making a decision on which one you're going to go with. Like the momentum strategy or the reverting strategy.
Correct. Yes. For the purposes of today's live stream, we're going to have a look at both of them. Obviously, we want to get winning trades today, but we just want to have a look and see the difference between them. But yeah, exactly that. So when you get out of bed in the morning and you can have a feel for what's been happening. Nobody knows what's going to happen. People may say they do, but nobody knows really what's going to happen over the course of a trading day. But you'll have a feel if there's a lot of fear and anxiety in the markets. You can look at the VIX, you can look at all sorts of different things, and take the decision on that. Strategy 2 is a more conservative strategy that will, over time, have lower potential profits, but also lower potential risk as well.
Right. So you're basically risk reward. You're risking less, and you're going to make a little less. But if you're in a really anxious market, that's a good place to be. You don't want to be risking as much. And if the market's going your way, you want to go full momentum, which would be your strategy 1, right?
Yeah. So the markets have the Nasdaq over the past 4 or 5 months have not really, on the daily time frame, they've not been going our way, but on the 5-second time frame we've seen plenty of strong moves as well. So the time frame makes a big difference. Picking the right moment, it could be even as simple as picking the right 30-minute or 1 hour session of the whole day that suits the strategy. Everything is looking right. You've back tested, optimized for that particular market conditions. You switch on for that, and then you switch it off.
Yeah, and also, this is a little bit off topic, but for people who are viewing today, if they would be interested in letting, would they like to see a live stream running on its own, like after we're done our streaming discussion, would people like to see this running in the background so they can just kind of view it throughout the day? We're kind of thinking about doing something like that. So I guess it'd be a good question to ask any viewers we have.
Yeah, reminder anybody on the live stream, hit us up with any questions in the chat. Let us know what you think, comments, questions, ideas. If you've used it, if you've not used it, drop a message in the chat and we'll be happy to answer that. Yeah, and exactly, Ren. So we've got an idea for just letting this run, and we could let it run over a slightly longer time frame. Maybe we'd have to choose some specific time periods. So obviously one of the beauties of the futures markets is that you can trade them throughout almost the entire 24-hour period. So we can try some different, we know we've spoken about it a number of times on this live stream. We know about the tendency of the Nasdaq, the S&P, and many stock markets around the world to increase in value in the overnight period, the out of hours period. So having it run there would be an interesting test.
It would, yeah. That would be interesting.
Yeah. So we're still heading downwards. I'm looking at the this chart here. We're down 100 and seems to have come out of nowhere. 155 points down now, so we're over a percentage down.
That was quick.
It was quick. We're only 13 minutes into the trading day, so let's see. Bit of profit taking. We'll take the optimistic side. A bit of profit taking.
I would agree. Yeah, I think so. I think we have just a little bit of profit taking happening.
Yeah. But did you see actually, Ren, that it was last Tuesday, we almost called the entire bottom or the low. I think it happened in the half an hour after we finished broadcasting our live stream. So we went absolutely crash down. But we hit that bottom and we were up. The Nasdaq was up intraday about 12%, almost 12% up until Monday morning here. So that was a huge move. 12% within a couple of days. So absolutely enormous move. So
our little automation trading just went wild for a while. If on the 5-second time frame, imagine how many trades you would have taken to the upside.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was the time. That is exactly the time to be in this type of strategy. You could argue that's the time to be in buy and hold, but of course, that's got its own risks. So what we're trying to do is capture the best time to use a strategy or use a variety of strategies that are optimized for different types of trading conditions.
Absolutely.
So we're going back up. I think we would have hit a profit target. I'm going to just have a little look there. Yeah, we made a little tick up.
Nice.
So since we're now trading the momentum strategy, what we need for this strategy is those strong moves in one direction. It would work perfectly well short as well if we have those strong moves to the downside. So a very flexible strategy. All it needs is strong sustained moves in one direction and then picking the correct direction.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and this could be a long short strategy the way it's built today. Just don't have it enabled for going short at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
For years there, it was just easier to do the long side.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I'm going to just have another look at the. So this is a zoomed in version of the equity chart. We've just taken a trade there, and you can tell by the fact we've just ticked up the very end of that chart. And you can tell again if I go back here, which is to the backtest tab, and you can see there this row here. I'll scroll in again for people who may not be entirely clear. Bottom left of your screen, what I'm looking at here, you can see just a long signal here.
And you can see the data just coming in on the 5-second time frame as well on the backtest sheet.
Exactly, yeah.
It just auto scrolls through every 5 seconds.
Yeah, so what we get from the Rhythmic connection, as you said earlier, Ren, is that this spreadsheet is not limited to Rhythmic, but it's the way that we've set it up for the time being. So in the future, it can be open to other trading platforms, other brokers, etc. But at the moment, we're just using Rhythmic, who are streaming the data into the spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet model is then taking that data and putting it in a usable form that you can add indicators, you can optimize, you can set profit targets. And then finally, as we've just seen now, you can send trades.
Yes. Yeah, this does a very good job simulating a real buying and selling.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it. Yeah. So any questions yet?
So not any questions today. Anybody on the live stream, please put any questions you have to us, thoughts, ideas, whether you've used it, whether you've not used it, and let us know what you think. See, I'm comparing the two equity streams. So the two equities there for the underlying market. You can see the big difference is that even this momentum strategy is keeping us out of the very worst of the price action.
It does. It helps keep you out of the really bad spots, which is good. But I guess today's strategy too was the mean reversion was the way to go.
It was the way to go. Yeah. Well, we've seen both, and I think it would have been better to stick to strategy 2.
Yeah, I really like that. That's a good option when you're really unsure about the market and you are sensing some, price volatility. I think strategy 2 is a good way to keep out of trouble.
Yeah. Okay then, Ren, I'm going to have to end this live stream for today, but if you enjoyed this video, if you're watching it on catch up or on live, okay, sorry about that. We are back on the live stream again now. Fran will be joining us hopefully in a moment. I was going to end this soon anyway. If you have any thoughts about this, you can get in touch. If you would like to download the spreadsheet, you can do so. There's a link below this video, and I hope you enjoyed this test of the Excel trading model.